When you think of the limits to Black capitalism, what are the highlights? What are the takeaways for either as teasers for people to dig into your essay, or as takeaways if what they get is this conversation?
So the three biggest things, so there's three reasons I'm skeptical of Black capitalism, which is what I would want people to take from this conversation. So the first two are, is it even a viable solution, right? So what an empirical analysis shows us, right, looking at the data, is at the rate we're going, the racial wealth gap will never close. Or if you want to use a few more optimistic assumptions, we're talking about 150, 200, 250 years, right? At which point you're in justice delayed is justice denied territory, right? So
and artificial intelligence will be in charge then anyway, and right. Elon Musk will be trying to go to Mars. It's a whole different world.
Right. We may not.
By the way, Mars is for quitters. Mars is for quitters.
So the first is, on a purely practical level, if the solution to the racial wealth gap is Black capitalism, then it may not be a viable, realistic solution, right? We're talking never or forever in terms of closing the racial wealth gap. The other objection is, okay, let's assume that we can figure out a way to close the racial wealth gap in, a reasonable period of time, say a generation or two, and we will live in a world where, the top 1% of American wealth holders have, reflect the broader population, are 14% Black, 17% Latino, 1.5% Native American, 4 or 5% Asian American. And, to me, the question is that a world we want to live in, right? Is that the end goal? Is the end goal simply an elite as diverse as the mass of people they exploit? And I would argue it's not, right? It's not desirable, right? I don't think we're going to kind of, have enough Jay-Z's to make a difference to close that racial wealth gap. And then even if we did, right? Even if, the Davos set, people who meet at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland every year, even if those folks did look like the rest of us, is that victory? Or is it victory for whom in that case, right? Because I feel like, I would simply want to live in a world that is more just and equal and fair for everyone, right? I would not accept, I don't think we should accept large differences of wealth among white Americans either.